Bro, you ever notice how some people just never go to jail in the U.S. no matter what they do?
Yeah, like billionaires, politicians, they always settle, or the case just disappears.
Exactly. That's because the court system itself isn't fully independent. It's tied to private corporations through something called the administrative state.
Wait, are you saying the judges aren't actually in charge?
In many cases, no. Behind the scenes, private bar associations control who becomes a judge, and most judges are part of a closed legal fraternity. You mess with the wrong network, you'll never win in court.
So the justice system is actually a system that protects itself.
Bro, ever heard why courts fly that gold-fringed American flag? Some say it's not the regular flag. It represents maritime law, meaning you're entering a corporate jurisdiction, not a constitutional one.
That's insane. So when you walk into court, you're basically stepping into their private turf.
Exactly. And once you're in, the rules aren't what you think they are.
They have given $94 million to fight anti-Semitism.
What?
Okay, maybe y'all didn't hear that. Maybe y'all still in shock. Maybe you need to stand up to sit down for this one. They just gave, Department of Homeland Security, just gave $94 million to Jewish organizations to fight anti-Semitism, fam.
Absolutely crazy.
I've had 4 members of Congress say, I'll talk to my AIPAC person. And it's literally what we call them, my AIPAC guy.
The reason why I'm a little taken aback by hearing this news is that I'm old enough. I'm an old man. And I'm old enough. Back in the day, I very much remember how Republicans and the right and this administration targeted a black woman who had set up the same thing, a grant for black women to start up businesses. That's correct. Now, you know how much the right loves to say, lift yourself up by the bootstraps. That's literally what she was doing. She was paving the way for other black women to start businesses, okay, by giving them something that most black businesses failed to have at the jump, and that is capital. And they said, hey, that's discriminatory, that's racist, that's this and that, and they filed a false lawsuit against her. Okay, if you actually look into the details, I did a video on it, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They wanted to say, oh, they didn't offer the scholarship or the grant to white women, but yet no white woman applied for the grant.
Come on now, dawg.
But they just implied that. They just insinuated that they wouldn't give it to them, even though they didn't apply for the grant, which then led to her having to shut down the grant.
Come on, man.
Just keep that in mind. That's what this lineage of evil did. Now, we are having the DHS give $94 million to Jewish organizations to fight anti-Semitism. Now, I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? What anti-Semitism? What rise to anti-Semitism? Where did this even come from? Okay, where did this come from? So I started asking questions, I get my answer. Do y'all want to know where this whole $94 million fight anti-Semitism even came from? It came from October 7th.
What?
That the temple spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on security, and he's very concerned about the rise in anti-Semitism since October 7th.
This message is for anybody working for ICE that does not understand what qualified immunity means. When I was a police officer, I didn't have a full grasp of what that meant either. No shame, but you need to understand what it means. After all this dust has settled, what's going to happen is that civil rights attorneys are going to contact the individuals whose Fourth Amendment rights have been clearly violated. Those attorneys are going to argue that you should have known and that the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution was already firmly established, which it is. Just to recap, the Fourth Amendment guarantees citizens the right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure. When that attorney successfully argues that you willfully disregarded the Fourth Amendment and you violated that person's civil rights, you are now absent of qualified immunity. What that means is you are going to be held personally liable. Your personal property forever is going to be subject to paying back the defendant whose home you broke into. You must understand this. ICE is going to hang you out to dry. They're not going to protect you when all of these thousands and thousands of attorneys come and show that it was you that was entering these houses. That means any paycheck you ever earn in the future is going to go to the victims whose Fourth Amendment you violated. Not only will you be held personally financially liable for the damages you incurred, you're also going to be named publicly in these cases, meaning you're never going to get a job anywhere ever again.
You're pressing charges against him, correct?
Correct. I want to press charges against both of the officers that threw me down the steps.
They threw you down the steps.
I have it on video.
You have it on video?
That is correct. I have it on, and I have a witness that he gave me his number. His name is Ronald. Yes. He was walking outside of City Hall with me at the same time. Okay. And as he was leaving, he said that I will be a witness. I saw what they did to you. I will write a statement.
What I need you to do for me, if you're filing a complaint against my two officers, I need you to come to my office and see my internal affairs guy and fill out a report. Now I'm gonna need you to do me a favor when we start taking all your information and stuff like that. I need you to stop recording. I know it's your Second Amendment. It's your right to be able to record in a public, but I ask, due to our investigation, that you let us.
Sir, I was just, to all due respect, I was just assaulted by 2 law enforcement officers. I don't trust anybody, so I can't stop recording. So whatever that needs to happen, that I can't.
We're gonna get our internal affairs guys, so you're gonna have to write some kind of way. Maybe he can get in touch with you.
No. I'm gonna put my name, my date of birth. I'll give you all my information.
I'm not even looking at it. This is going to our internal affairs.
Okay.
Department since allegedly.
It was one of the internal affairs. One of the people was internal. I saw it said IA.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I made a video. I'm going to share some information with you guys that really tripped me out and blew my mind. It has to do with the booking process. If you ever get arrested, they fingerprint you and take your picture and your mugshot and all those kind of things before you see a judge. It's illegal. I found this out last Thursday. It blows my mind to this day. Okay, I'm going to give you the case law and the amendments that back up what I'm saying. It's a Fourth Amendment deprivation to fingerprint, take pictures of, compulsory fingerprints before conviction is an unlawful encroachment and prohibited self-incrimination. Okay, that's going to be Hawkins v. Cahoon, 137, New York, 190, 153 Appellate 2B. That's from 1912, and it still stands. Taking pictures before conviction is an illegal act. Wow. Kaminsky v. Durant, 64, Rhode Island, 387, 12. Oh, it's Appellate 20, 1940, still stands. To detain a person arrested, in custody, detained for any reason except to see a magistrate is illegal and unlawful. That person, that law enforcement officer, will be guilty of a false imprisonment, no matter how lawful the original arrest may have been, if he fails to take you before the magistrate. It's a due process deprivation. That's the People v. Hearn. It has to do with booking procedures. 205, Michigan Appellate Court, 618. Michigan Circuit Court, Appellate Court. Well, in 1994, they went back. So this is adjudicated. Adjudicated means it's been judged. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to argue it. Just point to it. It's adjudicated. Okay? And so criminal complaints must be verifiable. Meaning they have to be signed. There has to be a complaint. There has to be a signed complaint. And so these things were just blew my mind. Like the whole bookend process is illegal if they don't take you to see the magistrate. The only purpose of them taking you into custody is to go see the magistrate, and then the magistrate will determine whether you be incarcerated or not. Which the Supreme Court has come back and ruled for Manuel versus New York City that any pretrial detention is unreasonable and forbidden. Forbidden. This is why we keep studying, guys. This is why we keep coming up and keep going forward. But the booking process before seeing a judge is illegal. And how many jails do that? I mean, I called a couple of them, the couple of guys that I know, and they didn't even know it. And neither was I. I was completely ignorant of that. The booking process before seeing a magistrate is illegal, guys. They cannot take your picture. They cannot take your fingerprints. They cannot take any of that. We'll talk to you guys soon. Stay in the fight.
You think ICE went rogue? No, ICE is the United States. ICE is the format. Every disaster this country has ever faced, it doesn't heal. It just builds another arm of control, and ICE is the most recent mass. Let's look at 1927. Mississippi drowned, 700,000 displaced. Refugees weren't even citizens anymore. They were fenced, sorted, segregated, and guarded with rifles. Relief spelled as surveillance. Let's look at 1930s. The Dust Bowl hits, right? 2 million starving off the plains. But guess what California does? They roadblock the entire border, stopping Americans at state lines. Migrants Immigrant families were branded as criminals, and strikes were broken by the guard. Hunger renamed invasion. Let's even go 10 more years. Let's do 10 more years. World War II. Internment camps, whole populations vanished behind barbed wire. The lesson was super clear. The lesson was extremely obvious. Collapse a group, call them a suspect, and then manage them like cargo. The Cold War only did it again. Refugees equals insurgent. Every crossing was reframed as a security threat. Immigration bureaucracy was just militarized. That's all it was. That's all it was. Movement was mapped like a battlefield. And guess where did it appear next? Guess where did it appear next? Katrina. Black New Orleans, right? They were displaced immediately, not relief, just sheer repression, shoot to kill orders, Blackwater contracts in the streets, survival strictly criminalized, and then Homeland Security arrives. Do you see how often this happens? I stamped on the door. And he wasn't born in 2003. It was the old fraud wearing a new name, because the government does not solve collapse. That is not what it's here to do. It feeds on collapse. Every storm, every flood, every blackout, every drought, whatever you want. It's just an opportunity to invent another agency, to expand another police budget, to hand another contract to corporations. Relief becomes control. Security becomes profit. Displacement becomes a crime. That's the operating system. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I really am. That's the United States. ICE is not a glitch. ICE is not a glitch. I'm tired of people acting like this is not what Democrats want. It's the update. That's what it is. So don't say ICE went too far. Say this. ICE is exactly how America works. Exactly. It's exactly how it works. A disaster happens, a new mass forms, and the fraud continues. That's exactly how it works. This shit is not something new. It happens over and over with every agency. Actually, that's the format I want you to think in. So any disaster, you could track that immediately to a control apparatus. And I think that's what we need to spend time looking at. The spine of this thing, right? Instead of bickering over which side we're on.
Islam, shalom, hola, aloha, bonjour, osio, assalamu alaikum, konnichiwa, jumbo. This your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping some new content. Leave a comment, interact with me. Thank you. I really do appreciate your viewership. You know they already tried to silence your boy. Took down my page for a good little while, the strikes. Who knows how long I'm gonna have this page, putting out this good information and trying to silence the voices, the truth speakers, the truth seekers. But I wanted to make this video real quick. So I was sitting here and I was thinking about this idea. All right, it could be an app that, is free to use, everybody has access to. Or it could be some type of social media platform, right? That instead of normal people, it has political candidates, all right? It has all of their background, their political affiliations, what policies they stand for, their funding, who's funding them, who's giving them the funding. It has all of that information. And then it has a way for we, the people, to actually poll and view in real time the popularity of these said candidates, right? And that's what I'm thinking. An app, real simple, real easy to use. Anybody can use it. I think that could be very, very popular, right? So this is just me saying that this is an idea that I came up with just in case something like this ever comes out. Who knows if this could actually threaten the power structure, to let us know. Because it brought to mind how Nepal did it. And I believe they got their person publicly elected like that by using a Discord server, by having like a political election, which was free to use for the people. And I think that would be an awesome idea, actually, So, hey, once again, this is your brother Zach Bay. They always trying to silence voices like mine. Peace.
Nobody goes to jail for breaking the law. People go to jail in America because a database thinks you're property. They don't move by justice. They move by automation. Every cop car, every courtroom, every warrant, pulling your information from a private database. Keyword private. Not from God, not from your rights, from corporations like Nexus Lexus, Fair and Palantir. They traffic your name like it's stock on Wall Street. They don't protect you. They profit from your data, your name, face, and ID, sold, flagged, and tracked, all without your consent. Why do you think it's called a social security? You are the social. You are the living collateral. It's not for your safety. It's to secure you on the social net. Tracked, traded, targeted. They don't need to ask. AI already knows. Predictive systems, they run your history before they even run your plates. You was guilty in the database before you even spoke. Digital profiling is the new slavery. You can override the system though. Serve them notices and enforce your truth. All these documents is in my packet, but you don't need it to do this. You can make these templates yourself. Affidavit of status, irrevocable trust. And if you have a irrevocable trust, some states need a deed with This is the deed for the trust. This is in the status and the jurisdiction pack, which comes with the status. The status comes with Babylon the Matrix. This is the alarmness and indemnity paperwork right here. You want to make sure that you are doing this through registered mail. Judges, cops, police officers do not take you serious when you are not enforcing your own paperwork. They don't take you serious when you are not enforcing your own identification. They only take you serious when you take you serious. If you want to remove your information from the cop's computer, put the work in. All of these different corporations are literally giving up your information to the police officers, to the judges, to the IRS, all of these different companies, ICE, FBI, they're giving your information out. When you do the affidavit of status, your jurisdiction, your home harmless agreement, your alarmness indemnity, all of these different documents, and you send them to each of these corporations, you are removing their assumed jurisdiction over you. They assume that you are a fiction because you allow them to enforce and impose identity through a database, information through a database that you can revoke. So family, I'm literally showing you each corporation that's playing with you. These corporations are giving your information up, reporting your information. The DMV, IRS, Clearview, Social Security Administration. Send your information. Don't wait for my packet. Don't wait for nobody packet, right? If you need the packet, purchase it. But this information is out here for you to do it for yourself. Don't be like me, wasting $5, $10, $15,000s of dollars trying to get help from everybody. Help yourself.
Listen, I'm not saying he a good guy, but if you go back and listen to his speech in English, we have AI now. So they have his shit translated down to his voice and his tone of how he was speaking that day when he was saying his speech.
Today, I believe that I am acting in accordance with the will of Almighty God. In defending myself against the Jews, I am fighting for the Lord.
We fought on the wrong side of the war, basically, because of ignorance.
We will defend Christianity, and not just on paper. We will burn out the atheism in our culture. We will burn it out, this whole poison.
Jewish people got kicked out of 109 countries for doing what they're doing now.
The decomposition of our literature, the poisoning of our theater, of our movie theaters, all the art is now falling for it.
Hitler was burning all the transgender books, getting rid of all the gay and pedophilia out of his country.
Already the assault begins against the education of our children's brains.
The book burning, those were fucking pedophile books, transgender books.
Lord God, give us the strength to preserve freedom for our people, for our children, not only for us Germans, but also for the other peoples of Europe. It is a war for the whole of Europe, and thus really for the whole of humanity.